Hello, everyone. We are live and welcome to the Seven City Shoptalk Sports Show, broadcasting live from the beautiful state of Virginia to everyone all over the world. I am your host, the Big Law, Lawrence Johnson. And as you can see, we're gearing up, man. I got on my orange shirt. See y'all. I got, my UVA stuff as always. Got that up, ready to rock and roll. But we got a treat for you today. Early in this show, we're gonna have some of my co-hosts come on as well. But we also have a special guest today, and we're gonna bring him on in a minute. But before we get started, we want to thank you for joining us in another episode of our brand of dysfunctional camaraderie. And as of now, this shop is open. And hey, like I said before, this is a build up, towards the season. And as the season is coming, we're really excited about what we have to offer and what the University of Virginia football team has cooking. But one of the people that I'm going to bring on here can really give us an idea and an insight to what has been going on for this year coming up and what these players have been up to. So without further ado, I'm bringing on my guy, one of my friends, dear friends, Scott German in the building. How you doing, Scott?
Lawrence, I am doing wonderful, and it's an honor. It's a privilege to be on your show, and I hope everyone's getting excited because we are just a couple of less than 3 weeks away from kickoff of what should be what I think is going to be a magical season in Wahoo land.
Wow, man. Wow. And of course, Scott is here from jerryratcliffe.com, but Scott is also a football sports writer for the University of Virginia Sports, works with the university as well in different capacities as far as assisting students. And also, he is a University of Virginia sports historian, and don't let him tell you anything different. But my guy, Scott, you and I, we're in the press box together. This will be about 14th year coming up. I'm happy and blessed to be there. But you and I were talking and chopping it up early, and you were telling me how you have been there, what, 40 years? Is it 40 years?
Um,
30?
Actually, I was thinking about it today. About 42 years.
42 years on the beat, in Charlottesville, on the grounds. I'm sure you've seen all kinds of things here and there when it comes to Virginia sports. And we just had another legend on the week before, which is Jerry Radcliffe. And he also just knows a lot, sees a lot when it comes to University of Virginia. Also, Jerry being a world-renowned Hall of Fame writer as well. Between you two guys, I pretty much got it sewed up as who knows everything about Virginia sports. But yeah, so let's talk about this season coming up. I mean, I got a prediction from Jerry as far as what we think or what he thinks um, where the record is going to be. Now, I got to get to you. So, you know, he didn't want to do the the game by game, but I would like to ask you, just based off of what you see, what is the record that you're possibly predicting for this team based off of what you know before we jump into what is going on with the players and what you want to report on?
Well, it's a great question. Football, Lawrence, and as I said, I've got a lot of experience with UVA football, college football. I think football is the sport that of of all the major sports, especially in college, where depth is often an issue. Football is the sport that an injury, a key injury, can change the dynamics of a whole season. I mean, if you think about it, even the best, even the upper tier teams in college football, uh, most of them don't have the type of depth that you can that you need to sustain a key injury. And we saw this last year um,
Mm-hmm.
when um, when our quarterback
Chandler.
Chandler got hurt in the excuse me, got hurt in uh, the Wake game, and on a dirty hit, may I add, if you remember correctly.
Absolutely, I remember. We definitely knew it was a bad hit.
Bad late hit or unsportsmanlike, should have been a hit to the helmet or a hit or something.
Ejection, all of it.
Ejections, yeah. And he goes out, and the backup comes in, and the backup is just not ready to perform under that situation. And we go on to lose a very winnable game. And my colleague Jerry Ratcliffe has made this comment many times. And it's one of many things that I agree with Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe on. And by the way, if you guys out there want to follow UVA football, you need to subscribe to his site, because let me tell you, no one does what Jerry does on covering the team. Shameless plug there, but we should never lose to Wake Forest in football, never, under any circumstances. But last year we lose Chandler, and the backup comes in, and he's just not ready to handle that situation, and we go on to lose to the Deacons, and that loss, I guess you could say, indirectly cost us a shot at the college football playoffs, because I believe if we go into the ACC championship game with an 11-1 record, we're into CFP regardless of whether we win or lose that game. You may have a difference of opinion, but from a lot of folks that I talk to, that Wake game cost us the CFP, because losing to Duke definitely put us out of the playoffs. So, college football can turn on a dime with injuries. And having said that, I guess getting back to your question, our team right now is not much different from a lot of the better teams in the league, is that we got to stay healthy. And if we stay healthy, which I'm hoping we do, and I see this team very capable of winning 10 or 11 out of the 12 regular season games. And don't ask me which one or two that we could lose. I just think there's a number of hiccups that we could lose. We could lose at Florida State. I don't foresee that. I think this is going to be the swan song for Norvell at Florida State. We could lose at Tech. We've got a couple of tough home games. We always have a tough game with Carolina. So there are games there that we can lose. But looking at the schedule, if we can withstand major injuries to keep his personnel, I see this team very capable of winning 10 or 11 regular season games. And we can talk about injuries and the depth that this club has put together a little later. But long answer to your question is I think this team's very capable of winning 10 to 11 regular season games.
Oh, my God. Now, listen, man. Okay. We had Jerry on, last week, and Jerry gave us, I believe, now, correct me if I'm wrong, and was it 8, 9 games Jerry gave us?
I think it was at least 9.
It was not okay. At least 9.
I think he said he could envision a scenario in which it was 10 or even 11.
Okay, all right, yeah. So I was, and hello, and everybody. This is Ed Thompson. He's our resident writer here.
Hi, kids.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm in a dreamland. We talked about so many positive things. My head exploded on air last week, and we all kind of laughed at it and kind of figured out, okay, wow, we really are, as good as we think we can be. The sky's the limit at this point. I mean, I'm thinking, if Bo Pribula, if he is what Jerry says he is, we may have a better quarterback on our hands than we had last year and a better team. And I'm going to let you elaborate on that. You and I had a really good conversation about the offensive line, or a particular player as well on the offensive line. And it's not, the two that I'm going to talk about later who are considered freaks by one writer. Another guy who is who got hurt and was supposed to be the best tackle in the portal last year. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you go ahead and bring in this lineman, talk about this lineman we were speaking about earlier today, and talk about what were some really good positive things about him and how dominant you think it could be, especially about the game last year, the bowl game.
I think you're talking about our center, Mr. Metcalf, Eric.
That would be Drake.
Drake, yeah, from the who is now at his third year at UVA. So he's a veteran, right?
Right.
You get a third-year player on a roster now, and that's a veteran player. If that fits the description of a veteran player,
right?
And his physique looks like he was sculptured out of some gigantic piece of granite. And we chatted at the media availability, assistant coaches availability luncheon a couple of weeks ago, and he could not stop raving about Pribula, and how he basically in the spring forced the offensive linemen to change their workout conditioning program that they were going to go through during the summer, because they had to learn a whole new skill set of workouts, of training, because the ability that the offensive lineman had to move left to right, because I think his exact quote was, "This cat can move." Which means we've got a very mobile quarterback. He's bigger than Chandler, and he's essentially forced the offensive lineman to hone in on a different set of conditioning skills that more concentrated more on their sideways movement as they did anything else, their blocking, stand-up blocking ability, or whatever. But so I really believe that the quarterback is going to be a significant upgrade off of Chandler last year, which was a darn good quarterback.
Wow.
So you start with the quarterback. An offensive line, it may be the deepest that I can ever remember at Virginia.
I mean, we're talking to a historian, everybody. So, I mean, you're going to help me out this time if my head explodes, Ed, on this. I mean, last week my head exploded with so much positivity. I mean, you're talking about, out of all the years you've covered UVA football, we may have the deepest offensive line that we've ever had, and maybe the most talented.
From what I have seen and the folks that I've talked to, and the confidence of some of the players, the O-line that I have personally spoke with, I believe that's a true assessment. Now, we know we all are looking through orange and blue tinted glasses, but the facts are hard to ignore, and we've got the most experienced team in the NCAA Division I in terms of number of returning snaps that our players have. And in football, it used to be, and I think it still is, the mentality is and I think the mentality is still there, it's just a different approach to it, is that a college football team wants to get to a point of where they're veteran laden and experienced, and they want to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll use this term. In the old days, which is only six, 5, 6 years ago. In other words, before the transfer portal, before instant eligibility of players not having to sit out, that wasn't possible because you had players that rotated through, and you would have years where you were veteran laden with seniors or redshirt seniors, and they would graduate, and then you would start kind of over with a bunch of relatively inexperienced players just through the natural cycle of the way kids cycle through college. Well, now you replace a senior with a senior through the transfer portal, or you replace a veteran player, a junior, senior. You go out and you recruit through the portal another player with that much experience. So there's no reason a team has to get young now. They can literally freeze time and stay at almost the exact same experience level from season to season, if you think about it. And if you talk to a lot of football people, that experience is the key to winning football teams. If you have players out on that field that know where to be, that know how to rally their teammates and through adversity, that is huge. And that's what we have this year. And not only do we have experienced players, we've got some darn good players that we got. We didn't go out and settle for, the division, the lower group of 5 players. We got a lot of good transfers in this season. And a lot of those football games, as we know, are won at the line of scrimmage. If you're going to be experienced, if you're going to be veteran laden, you want it right there on that line of scrimmage.
And you were telling me a story about what Metcalf Drake was telling you about the bowl game, and what he was telling you about the what had went on the line of scrimmage. You had a story about that.
We're talking about the experience level, the physicality of our players, and this was from last year. Now we got a bunch of new players on that offensive line, but still very experience laden players. He said that it didn't take but a few snaps in the bowl game last year to realize, my goodness, we, meaning UVA, we are just physically intimidating to this team. And there's no way we're going to lose to this. And as it turned out, it was a close game, but I don't think Virginia played that well, but they still won. But according to Metcalf, they knew right from the get-go that they were just far above being the superior team out there in terms of physicality, strength, size, speed to Missouri. And guys, Missouri, we're talking about a middle of the pack, if not a little above middle of the pack SEC team last year. We're not talking about Virginia going out and mopping up in a two Fruit Loops game against Tulsa or against a group of 5 team. We're talking about physically dominating a solid Southeast Conference team. And who would have ever thought we would be speaking this highly of Virginia football?
I have no clue. I've
time for your head to explode, Lawrence.
I'm saying, man, I'm trying to hold it together. When I hear such good things from everyone, from all of my writers, all of my media cohorts, from just fans. I mean, from just everybody who's involved with University of Virginia football from all aspects. It's just positivity, and this is almost like, how far can we go?
How is the depth chart or the depth charts shaping up?
Go ahead. Well, you had a question?
Are you speaking to me?
Yeah, I thought I had someone that had a question.
No, sorry.
You want to jump in here and ask a question, Ed? We got Scott till 9.
Oh no, I was just thinking the same. You know, I think I've probably been following football as long as anybody on here, Virginia football to be specific. Um, I go back to was it Dick Bestwick and then Sonny Randall, or Sonny Randall and Dick Bestwick? I get those.
Randall and then Randall and
Randall
Bestwick.
and Bestwick. It kind of ran together.
Yeah, I hope you don't go. I hope you don't go as far back as Landing and Field, which is behind you.
No, although Chad seems to think that I'm somewhere back in that back row there.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
There's a fellow that looks like you.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's a little weird if I'm being really honest in that I know we're pretty good, but you know it wasn't that long ago that football was just something we did until basketball season got started. It's this is probably about as talented a group as I've seen. It just doesn't. It feels weird to be not sucking football.
Yeah. Well, it's not something that gradually happened. It's not like we went from 3 wins to 8 wins to 11. We went from literally 3 to 5.
Was it 3 to 5
to 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kind of new to this, but for someone that's followed, as long as the landscape continues to follow what the current landscape is, meaning transfer portal, no setting out. I believe we could also. I believe we're in a position where we could handle the setting out a year if need be. I think the depth is there, but Virginia is, with the NIL and the amount of commitment that the alumni have to this football program.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this to a veteran sports writer just a couple of days ago over the phone, a national veteran sports writer. And I said, is it possible that in the current landscape of Virginia football that we are now positioning ourselves to be considered a blue blood?
Hold on. Before you go any further, OG, you're the one you did say this last year, same time. You said with this NIL opportunity and the way these donors are going, you may have, this was your statement, you may have awakened a sleeping giant. I don't know if you remember saying that, but you said that last year, this time on this show. And, you may be
Nostradamus.
Yeah, you may be some type of a orange and blue Nostradamus, because you did say that. You said, "Are we awakening a sleeping giant here in Charlottesville?"
Well, if you were right, because I believe that's what we have, and throwing it. And I've had the opportunity to meet some of these players, and let me tell you, and I have a few more minutes than that. I know we're close. I have a few more minutes. I have another program to call in. The commitment with the alumni, and believe it or not, the consensus that I'm getting from these transfers, and I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you're just blowing smoke up." You know what? Most of these transfers are coming here. A big part of it is they like the educational opportunity. Derek Metcalf was a Stanford student, so out of high school, a recruit. So he's definitely. I mean, he was. I'm not sure, but I believe he's now enrolled in one of the business schools at UVA. So they told me that the fact that they can come here and take some classes and get an education and continue it if they want, even after their eligibility is over. They like that educational opportunity. So you factor in still a great world-class university, and the NIL commitment from the alumni. It's there, believe me. It's Charlottesville is a magnificent town to live in, to play in, and a fan base that's just absolutely chomping at the bit to have something to be proud of. We're a blue blood in football.
Okay. All right. Well, this is what we're gonna have to do. I know you got a show ready to go.
Let me just throw one thing at you, and then after we get off, I'll let you just pass it over.
Okay.
Yesterday at the media availability, one of the assistant coaches was the running backs coach Gaither.
Yep.
And guys, we've got a stable of running backs. I know, Lawrence, you and I talked earlier today, and you were a little questioning about where our receivers, who was going to step up and be, some of our go-to receivers. But and I question that as well. But right now, Coach Gaithers has got a dilemma on his hands because there's only one ball out there on the field at on any given play, and you got a quarterback that likes to throw. You got a quarterback that doesn't have a problem with tucking it and run. And you got running backs in there too that want the ball. So what I've heard right now is that the surprise likely front runner for RB1, running back one, is probably Jaquil Middlebrook. He's got great hands. And from what Gaither is kind of read between the lines, he's been the one player that stepped up. He's shows tremendous skills. So that wouldn't surprise me if Middlebrook opens up as our number one running back, and maybe as a backup, or maybe at times there could be two running backs in the backfield, and if so, Noah Vaughn, and having him healthy. And just adding a maturity level to that backfield has been huge. So, again, the quarterback experience, the running backs having experience back there in the backfield, we are going to be a handful for most everybody we play this coming season.
Man, I tell you, that sounds great to me. I mean, I'm thinking, you're right. They may have a two-back set where they have a Peyton in the back, but then a Jaquil Middlebrook playing kind of a slot or kind of a wing position, where he's doing some orbital motion around the quarterback, going out in space and catching a flare pass between him and Noah. It could get real, I think, tricky for a defense trying to guard all these. Number one, deal with the line that we're going to talk about here a little bit later, and also deal with all this stable of running backs. Total of 6 of them once Xavier Brown gets back, but definitely 5 guys ready to rock and roll. But I know you got to get out of here. Anything you want to say, Scott, before we let you go?
Lawrence, thanks for asking me. And normally I'll have more time in this, and I'd love to come back before the opening kickoff against NC State later this month. But again, if you're listening and you're a Virginia fan, you haven't got your season tickets, you better go online or call the ticket office and grab some, because momentum is going to be key. We get started off well get out of the gates with a win over NC State, and all of a sudden we're 1-0 in the ACC. We're first place from day one. It's going to snowball, and Scott Stadium is going to go back to rocking again like it should always be.
Oh yeah, rocking again. You figure if we get that first win and then we get into Florida State at like 4-0, I think that's what it would be. 5-0 possibly going into the middle part of the year and being ranked in like number 15-ish possibly. It's gonna go bananas. Everybody just hold on, let's just, I don't know, man. Scott, just we're gonna get you back on. There's just so much positivity right now. I can't stand it, and I know Wood can't stand it either. but but let me let you get back to
It's
work.
going to be fun, and when I finish with my other commitment, I'll start listening again. So you guys have a good night and have fun.
Appreciate you, brother.
Okay, all right.
That's my guy. That is Scott German from JerryRatcliffe.com, Virginia football historian. Just giving us a little bit of time. He had another commitment. He had to go do another show, but echoing what Jerry Ratcliffe said last week, where we're talking about a team that is loaded, absolutely loaded. And I said the only thing that I was thinking about, Ed, is the receivers. The receivers, being somewhat just not proven. Not saying that they can't.
I mean, I think especially in this offense, you're going to have guys that are going to get open. The question is going to be, can the quarterback hit them, and can they hang on to the ball? If we can do that, then this offense is going to go places and do things. But it's there is a saying that when you throw the football, 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad. So I mean, we'll see.
Shout out to our guys in the chat. Of course, Chad Wood, one of our hosts.
Yeah, Chad GPT was.
Yeah, he's kicking in. Then of course, my man John Samaha, also tuning in. Rides with one of the prominent tailgates on the grounds there. Look at Wood. He says, I'll take 2 shots of whatever y'all drinking, Blue Blood. Hey, listen, man. This is what I'll say. I'm not calling Blue Blood, no, but it's just the dang it to say something not positive so far. I just haven't seen it. Even yourself, Wood. I mean, you gave me, what did Chad give me? 9-3.
I think somebody that picks 9 wins doesn't have any room to call anybody Pollyanna.
I mean, I think you gave me 9 wins, Chad. I mean, that's way out of what you usually would do. And I still don't think it's Chad. But whatever, when you say things, I know you feel that, and I think I'm at 10 wins. And I think you can only look up from there. So right along with that, a whole bunch of like preseason. What is Wood saying here? My man Eric, Eric says, sounds like running backs will get to have great yards after catch, spread the defense wide. Yeah, open up lanes. A good problem to have on the options. Eric, did you submit for your passes? Let me know, brother. Wood, he says, easy schedule for 2 years. You got it. Of course, they will win 9. Far from the established blue blood. Understood. But usually we would have
just can't stand being happy.
But listen, we would have a similar type of a schedule, regardless of how tough it is, and we still will only win 3, 4, 5 games. Easier.
Yeah, it's not like the schedule got really simplified. The schedule is what the schedule is. It's right. We're doing what good teams should do, is beating the teams we're supposed to beat.
That's right. You should win games. You should win. But like I was saying earlier, reverting back. So at the beginning of the year, you always have these preseason awards, preseason watch list. One list that I really wanted to take a look at was there's a list called the Freaks list. It's called the Feldman's Freak List.
Is that the one that Rick James puts out?
No, it's not the one Rick James puts out. But it's
Okay.
Feldman puts it out. He's a writer, and he has it's like where he picks players who have freakish athletic talent in the beginning of the year. Last year, Cam was on there and Sparks was on there, our punter and our middle linebacker. This year we have 3 people on there, and the 3 people we have 2 offensive linemen on there. Hey, what's going on, Donnell?
Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, which was, to me, I mean, we talked about Drake Metcalf, who Scott just talked about him, who was a difference maker, who said that we were beating the hell out of Missouri last year. We knew that we were beating them up from the start. So that's your center. Then you have a guy like Monroe, the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
So who was supposedly the best offensive tackle in the portal last year, blew his knee out, Monroe Mills, and winds up being out for the year, then comes back and looks like he's back to form. But the 2 other guys that are on the offensive line are like on a freak list, and these guys are also on the best lineman watch list as well. So you got Mikhail Boley, who, and there's Noah Josie. There's another guy, the 5th guy, Noah Josie. So Mikhail Boley, who, before in the beginning of the year, they do the shuttles, the 40s, all these combine type of, and they do them in the spring as well. All these combine type of workouts to try to see kind of where they are and where they have to get to. So Mikhail Boley, and this is give credit to Chris Wright. Got to give him credit for that. I believe he writes for the Sabre. He was saying, Mikhail Boley ran a 4.5 shuttle, had a 93.5-inch broad jump, which would have been first in the combine last year. That's crazy to me. Okay.
Yeah, some of these kids really should be illegal is the only word I can come up with.
Then you got Macklin Thomas, who's also on the freaks list. 600-pound squat, had a 4.38 short shuttle. That's the best short shuttle for a lineman in the last 3 years. And then of course the third person is our quarterback, who starting to really catch up, get some traction here, especially in the media community. People started to talk about him. Jerry brought him up and said, we don't know him now, we're gonna know him, we should know him. Scott just talked about him as well. I've been talking about him lately about what do we got on our hands here, and he's saying that how he ran a 3.94 a 6.84 3-cone drill, which was second in the which would have been second at the combine last year. Not just for quarterbacks, of everybody, receivers and quarterbacks and all. I don't know what we're looking at here, but those numbers don't lie. Those numbers don't lie. And if these guys are training like that, and like Wood is saying, and I read that as well. I saw that. It's not arguably Wood. They say we are the top 10, the number 10 line in the country. Period. No lower than 10. And then secondly, they're the top line in the ACC. I don't know if we could have ever said that. I know we've had talented offensive linemen. We've had tackles come out and go high in the draft, top 10 in the draft. But to have this many linemen at one time as a group, and then to have backups on top of it, this just seems like it's a dream come true. And then you got the stable of running backs. What would you like to add when it comes to the freaks list segment, Ed?
Well, I mean, I'd be lying if I said that Rick James didn't start playing in the back of my head. But yeah, it really is strange. Like you said, we've had good linemen here.
Yes,
we've had The first one I can really remember is Ray Roberts.
Yes.
Who's with Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Eugene Monroe. We had
there you go. Look at Wood.
One of my favorites was
the Brick. Yeah.
Brickashaw Ferguson.
There we go. The Brick. That
kid played left tackle, and he weighed what, 240, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid balled out that year. Yeah, we've had a good lineman. What I think separates this bunch is that it's everybody's good. Eric Metcalf is a probably a first day center.
I mean Drake.
Drake. Yeah. He's got me doing it now. And no, Eric's not his dad. But it's Drake is a great offensive center, but he's also a really good guard.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
he was the guard. That's right.
If you think that NFL teams are not taking note of that, you're guess again. If you've got guys that can play in 2 or 3 different spots, it helps. It may not, right guard might not be his best position, but he's a pretty good right guard. So you can if you got guys that are versatile like that and experienced, that switch is not a big deal. If you're a true freshman and you've played left tackle all your life and you're asked to play right tackle, yeah, you're still playing tackle, but it's other side of the line and not quite the same responsibility. So, having the experience, having the depth, this is really sort of uncharted territory for us.
My man Eric in the chat is saying, don't underestimate the number of snaps. That's what,
it's reps. It's the game at this level is so much faster than what they're used to with high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's sometimes it's adjusting to the speed, and you get caught up in your own head and you start overthinking it. And as we all know, if you think you're dead,
that's right. And the team can lean on depth, versatility, in the crunch and bad weather.
Yeah. It's it's a little strange, and this is not a 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense, but it is built around running the football.
Yeah, it is, and that's what Coach Elliott said in the beginning. He wants to be able to run the ball. Wants to set the tone. My man Devin Foster in the chat. Thank you everyone for tuning in the chat and contributing. He's saying we seem solid across the board. Absolutely right. Eric chiming in again. 4 potential linemen could be 4 NFL.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, I think we can have 4 guys drafted this year, especially with those measurables and those times. And then like I said, Monroe Mills, who was the talk of the town before he got hurt. That's another guy. I think he's NFL bound. The center, Drake Metcalf, NFL bound. Then you got Mikael Boley, Macklin Thomas, Noah Joseph. That 5 right there. I mean, we could have 5 guys go in the NFL draft next year. I
did not realize that Mikael's dad had played. I mean, for some reason I just did not make that connection. I don't know why.
Okay.
Because I had heard, Michael Boley is a fairly well known. He was a linebacker, wasn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah. He was. The name is not unfamiliar to me, so I don't know why I didn't make that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Well, I can tell you this team, the positive news just keeps coming. Chad says, just hope that Kitchen stays out of the way on 3rd down, a la Algro 2.0. Well, if they go
we'll
in,
never make it. We're doomed.
If they wind up, if Des Kitchens, this offense goes out here and goes bananas.
Don't encourage him, Law.
But listen. Will apologies be in order? You know what I mean? I mean,
they might be, but you won't hear them.
Look, that's true. You won't hear them.
You will not hear them.
I mean, you know, and like some people say, oh, it's all about the, you know, the talent he has, you know. But I think it has to be a combination of it. Florida State has, you know, 15, 20, 4 and 5 star kids starting. You know what I mean? You know, the you know, on both sides of the ball. You know, and they still have issues with
I don't
executing. So
I don't care about how many stars you got on your sheet. That I don't.
Well, I mean,
don't think that translates to points on the board. So
I mean, they put a lot of points on them, but they start going crazy. Chad says not when you. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, failure at every stop, but you know, they wound up putting 35, 40 points a game up. You know, and that's you know, that's probably that's better than average. In the college world, that's that's actually, you know, probably 60-65% like of what higher end football do. You know, a lot of schools get up into 35, 40 points a game. But if you get a team that, you know, they're scoring 30, 35 points a game, you know, that's kind of, you know, your defense is supposed to be what it is. You know, we definitely could be looking at a you know, something that we, like you said, back-to-back years of this. You know, we hadn't won 11 games in the, you know, ever in the history of the program. Now going back in and having that happen again, or something close to that, you know, and getting us back to postseason play, you know, it could definitely be something that we're that we're thinking about. And if it happens, you know, we may have to have some apologies in order.
The pucker factor may go up in trailer parks all over the Commonwealth.
Oh, look at Wood. He says, if we average 35 to 40, I'll wear a jersey with his name on it.
Well, wait. Are we talking Dez?
Screenshot it.
Are we talking Dez or are we talking Tony?
No, I think he's talking Dez. I think that he'll wear a UVA jersey with Kitchens on the back with a 00.
Oh man!
He says Kitchens, yes. Hey, screenshot that, Ed.
We gotta save this. We gotta save this.
We gotta save this. Oh my goodness. Oh, he says all season. Okay, there we go. Boom, boom. Okay, he said all season. Yeah, listen, Chad, you may be losing the farm. You already giving this team 9 wins, and if Daz winds up putting up 35 points a game, you know, we'll see. We'll see. And you know what? It could be Bo Privula. You know, it could be a Bo Privula thing. You know, it's a free jersey. Listen, it could be a Bo Privula thing. But Bo could go off. You know, and be one of these guys where, you know, he's just hard to guard. You know, he has a decent arm. You know, get the ball down the field, strong arm. You know, just I think accuracy has kind of been the thing with him. But he also wasn't healthy. He wasn't utilizing his best assets, which are his legs, from what I understand. You start getting him outside the pocket, start doing some of those special things that some of these mobile quarterbacks can do. I don't know, man. He said, nah, he's excited about the offense. Just got to bring y'all down to earth. Well, you know, Chad, that's your job. We appreciate you for that. We really do. Thanks, Wood. Yeah, we really appreciate it. But I can tell you, this feels like a lot of fun, man. I mean, we got what? 3 weekends left? 3 weekends before game time. And then after that, we are ready to go. You know, it's game time, all those. And Scott is right. Go get your season tickets, man, or get at least, if you're gonna piecemeal it together, go to this first game. Tickets start out $25. He said party at Ed's. I know that's right. But yeah, so we'll
we got room in the back there.
Yeah. So let's see. We can pack Scott out for this game. Like I said, also pack those tailgates. Go out there. Represent. Let's make this a hostile environment. We did make it a hostile environment last year, and that Florida State game was of evidence of how rowdy and how it could be. Also, the Washington State game. Remember that?
They got some penalties with motion and stuff, didn't they?
And they said they couldn't hear. Guys were just, false starting all over the place.
My
I
wife
love,
says I can't hear, but
yeah, but that was because of what the crowd did.
yeah,
It can be an intimidating place. I think, like I said, I do have to bring the energy level down a little bit because
no, Chad. That's what Chad's for.
yeah, I mean, I have to as well.
He's,
I have to be just a little bit more objective about some of it. But speaking of in the trenches, he says that caused the safety. I believe that's right. That's right. It did cause the safety by my man Cam Robinson. But we also have, speaking of the front seven, on the defensive side of the ball now, we got Kazim Moore and Jacob Holmes coming back, who was a part of the rotation up the middle. Now they needed, number one, you can never have too many defensive linemen.
no.
So we just are trying to work in a defensive lineman from last year, a defensive end from last year's 11-win team, and a defensive tackle. Both of them were part of the rotation, did really well, and they were very instrumental in helping this team be one of the tougher defenses, once they buckled down.
Did they just sit around and wait to see how things were going to play out?
Maybe, worked out. And I know that they, you still got to get themselves into not just workout shape. They got to get into game shape.
Yeah. I mean, there's working out and there's game shape. They're two different things.
That's right. And I think with those guys, coming in, I mean, we were stacked before those guys could come back.
Yeah.
So bringing those veterans back in who know the system, who are productive in their roles. We have some new guys come in. And I integrate these guys. What are we, like 9 deep? 10 deep?
Something like that, yeah.
11 deep between the tackles, nose tackles. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's
9 deep. 9? No, we're probably like close to 10 to 12 deep. Adding those guys.
It's a lot more than we've had in the past. Let's put it that way.
Oh, it's outrageous right now. Trying to find time for these guys and keeping them fresh. These guys are going to be, you think about some of these good teams that win championships. They got backups on backups on backups. Now, you think about like an Alabama team. They got, when they were winning their championships, they had backups on backups and backups. Now, they were ranked 4 and 5 star kids, but who's to say, kids that have been playing football for 4 and 5 years on the college level, can't be, maybe they're not quite the 4 and 5 star kids, but they can play at like a 4-star level sometimes.
Well, they can come in and they can give the starters a blow, give them at least a couple of plays off, if not a full series. And I think that was part of the formula last year was not so much that Coach Rudd his defense was light years ahead of everybody else. It's just that our guys were fresher. There wasn't as much drop off.
Right.
Yeah, and we've seen that going the other way enough times in the past that I feel I don't feel bad for them at all. Not in the least. Because nobody felt sorry for us. So,
well,
it's that's the way it goes. We're deep. You're not. Too bad.
Right. Well, I can tell you that this is a new feeling. I think that we're only going up from here, and we just need to continue to, you know, I guess just keep this positive energy moving forward, man, and just keep praying for no injuries, and just keep on making sure that we keep keep the prayers going for these no injuries, and these kids keep getting better and better week after week, man. So, anything you got to say in closing? We're at 55 right now.
You know, you might want to keep a good thought for some of the fans, because especially us older folks, if last year's any indication, this winning this system, it's hard on a fella.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love a good close football game, but I don't think a blowout every once in a while is too much to ask.
I mean, who knows? I mean, there's, you know, our historians and our elder statesmen, our writers are saying, you know, maybe those games aren't end of the game wins. Maybe we start.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've said that. I've said that a number of times in the past. I remember when we lost, when we supposedly lost at Michigan on the last play of the game. And then I think a couple of weeks later, we allegedly lost to Texas. Those were two really questionable losses that sat and chewed on us for a while, and we wound up winning close games down the stretch. Yeah, you could, I don't know how you would ever prove it, but you could certainly make a case that by losing those games in September, you won those games in November.
Right.
You know, I think that's one of the byproducts of having the veteran team is, you know, okay, we had a bad game. We stunk the place up. We have another game next week. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
you know, they're better able to help the young guys as far as putting stuff behind them. Corners have to have short memories.
That's right.
So you got burned. You'll get the next one.
Well, and we're stacked at corner and at safety. So looking forward to seeing how the defensive back plays much better than last year.
To paraphrase Coach Welch, you can't have too many good cornerbacks.
That's right. That's right. And as far as my statement, I got to give a shout out and a prayer to one of my OG guys in the press box as well. Another one of the guys who covers UVA sports, been around for a long time. Frank Maloney from Who's Talking. I hope you are getting well soon. You know, I don't know if we're going to see you in the press box, but God bless you, and I hope you, like I say, getting well soon, and pray for my guy Frank Maloney, man. But yeah,
familiar.
yeah. Who's Talking now out of Richmond? That's his brand. And
not the movie with John Travolta.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
He's having some health issues, and he's I don't know if we'll see him this year in the press box, but he's one of the guys like Scott,
getting old.
Like a Jerry, like a David Teal, you know, one of those older guys in the box, and but shout out to him, and hopefully he gets better soon. But let's just keep this fire rolling, everybody. It is what it is. I mean, it just keeps coming up roses. Yeah. Everything keeps coming up roses. All the reports, everything that I'm reading, everything that I'm seeing, the kids are, you know, they're getting players back that they had thought were lost, you know, to eligibility, you know, at one of the most important positions on the team. Quarterback's ready, offensive line is deep, running backs are deep. A little bit of a question mark at wide receiver, but that's it. Kicker set, punter set. Let's go, man. Wahoo wah. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just
hell yeah.
Let's just keep it rolling, man. But I can tell you, this has been a great show. Again, shout out to my guy from earlier today who was on there with us. Now I'm losing my mind.
Embrace it. It's a lot easier. Trust me.
My guy Scott German, who came on the line with us earlier. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit.
But he's not coming on the O-line.
No. He won't be there.
That's a pretty crowded room, I think.
Yeah, it's very crowded. But we got to thank you all for hanging out with us and spending time with us. But as of now, the shop is closed.
Hurry back, Chad. Miss you.
Only 3 more weekends. Let's go.